We begin in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful.
Left on Red Guided Instead is brought to you by Ottawa Muslim Youth Club.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's episode of Left on Red, Guided Instead. I would love it if each of you shared this episode or your favorite episode to one family member or friend, as this helps us grow as a family and expand to all of our community. So, have you ever thought about what truly holds people together, not just as friends, but as a community? That's the kind of question we're tackling today, and trust me, it'll leave you with something to think about long after the episode ends. I believe the strongest bonds aren't built on big words or fancy ideas. They're built on simple actions, honesty, patience, and being there for each other. Let's see how that plays out in our talk today.
Left on Red,
Guided Instead.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host, Eshaan.
And I'm your other host, Mustafa. And we're here with two guests because we're continuing the series of community leaders.
Yeah.
So we have,
Zain bhai.
Yep, I am Zain. You can call me Zain bhai.
of course,
Yeah, and I'm Zaki. You can call me Zaki.
Okay. And today's topic is
Building character through the Qur'an. Reviving brotherhood and Aklaaq.
okay. No, it's just the first one, buddy. But it's okay. So, would you?
No, you're wrong.
Oh, oops. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. So, would you like to give the argument or what?
Oh,
Do you even have one?
no.
All right. So.
You'd like to start us?
Yeah, okay, I got you. So, using the Quran to build brotherhood is very crucial because, it's not good to argue with someone like your Muslim brother, you could say. Yeah, it's not really an argument, but yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying that the Quran bonds us together?
Of course.
Yep.
But sometimes it could separate people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it depends.
So, if I can jump in, how do you define brotherhood?
Brotherhood is like a Muslim brother or even.
It doesn't necessarily
physical
have
brother.
to be No, it doesn't really.
Okay, what is it then?
A close relationship with someone. A really
Yeah.
close relationship with someone. And so there's Muslim brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
there's biological brotherhood,
Yeah, there's
and there's
a lot of
there's
different-
also friendship brotherhood.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like too many.
Wow, this conversation is getting dry, so let's hear it from the expert.
Of course.
So I heard you started a class of Quran, right?
You
Yeah.
did? You
Yeah,
heard?
I've heard.
What inspired you to
Yeah.
start this class?
All right. So, I think I was around 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And my dad took this initiative. So he and his group of friends, they started getting together and once a week and just reading the Quran, trying to understand the Quran and just extract meaning out of it.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing that they did was not just extract meaning out of it, but try to implement in their lives what they were learning from the Quran, right? And so I got inspired by that. And I had joined those sessions, when I was a little younger.
Yeah.
I think I'm still young. Am I, Sean?
Yeah. You are. Don't worry.
So that was my inspiration, and Alhamdulillah, we are continuing to do that.
That's very nice to hear. I feel like Quran, it bonds people together a lot. Like you just said, like you guys group together, Quran classes, all that. See, Quran could bring a lot of people together. And that's a very important thing, having a friendship or a bond with someone.
Exactly, and I'll share a recent story. So we were, in one of our very recent Quran sessions, we were talking about, how you can succeed in life.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that came about was Surah Al-Asr, right? And
Asr.
it says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. I don't want to get into the details of it, of course, but there are 4 exceptions of how you can save yourself from loss. And the first 2 is by believing. Believing is a very individual thing, right?
Yeah.
The second is, by doing good actions, good deeds. The third and fourth is what I think is very important for brotherhood, is by counseling one another to truth and to purpose, and counseling one another to patience. And what that essentially means is, I hold Eshaan's hand when Eshaan is in trouble. Okay, I hold your hand and say, you know what, are you not finding meaning in life? Are you not finding purpose in life? I can help you, buddy. Right? And so that concept of brotherhood comes from there. So everybody should hold each other's hands and, you know, help each other, but also at the same time listen to one another. I think that's the most important. That's I think one of the very essential things in brotherhood. Listen to each other, have conversations.
Yeah.
So giving a helping hand is one of the most important things. Is that what you're like indicating to?
Yeah, I mean, you know, hear yourselves out, help each other, try to listen to your friends, to your brothers. If they're in need, listen to them, and just support them, be supportive of each other. I think
Yeah.
that's where brotherhood comes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I think brotherhood is also built on communication
Mm-hmm.
and trust and all these things. Sean, what's your opinion on this?
On what exactly? We've been talking about a vast concept. of
On
things.
brotherhood?
Brotherhood.
Like, what's your definition of it?
Brotherhood is a connection between people and like helping people. Like if you have a connection between someone and you think you have a strong connection with them, then you have a brotherhood with them. Or
Alright,
sisterhood.
What about you?
Alright, I'm gonna talk now. So like,
Let him talk.
yeah. So I feel like we talked enough about brotherhood. You know, we're going a little bit off topic here. You know, about the Quran, right? I feel like a lot of people, they don't know, like they don't know something, like they need to be guided in some, certain situation, right?
Like Momo, yes.
Right. Yeah, so they need to be guided in something and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do, like I don't know where to start. A lot of things that people overlook, or a thing that people overlook a lot is actually the Quran. There's a lot of guidance that you can get from there. If you read the translation or, if you just read it, you can get a lot of information from it.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people overlook, what you can get from the Quran and the meaning you can get from it. Because, it's the book that Allah gave to us, a way of
Yeah,
life,
and the Quran's written in Arabic, right? And like some people just read some people know how to read Arabic, right? Do you know how to read Arabic, right?
Well, there's the
Nah,
Quran,
I don't know how to read Arabic. I can't lie.
the Quran Arabic and like normal Arabic are two different like
Yeah.
types of Arabic.
And
So-
when you read the Quran, you might not understand it because you don't understand Arabic. Do you speak
Yeah.
Arabic? No.
Exactly. And
Do you
that's
speak Arabic? Yes. But
A bit,
Yeah.
a bit, but I rely on the translation as well, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
You have to read the translation. Just reading the Arabic part won't put you anywhere.
Exactly.
Because you're putting random words out of your mouth.
you need to know what you're reading.
Yeah.
That's why, like the Quran, it's good to read like the original version, right? Like that's like the original. But you should also read the translation to know what you're actually reading, to understand it. And I feel like there's also a lot of people altering, like not like altering, but like they're saying like, oh, this Quran verse has this, has that, without the context of like the verse. And I feel like that's like they need to like read the context before actually reading like a single verse of the Quran.
Yeah, like let's say if you have a book in front of you
Yeah.
and you read the first sentence in each one of the pages, will you know what the book's about?
No, that's why you have to read the chapter,
Exactly.
and then maybe you'll know more.
You'll know more if you read one chapter than the first line of every
No,
book.
if you read like the chapter, like the chapters, like the title of the first chapter, like Surah Baqarah, the cow, and then you read like a
Okay,
verse.
explain Surah Baqarah.
You explain it.
Oh, you just said you can know off the
That's
That's
title.
an example.
Yeah, you can know off the title, so explain Surah Baqarah.
You're speaking about the cow, how like
All right, we are going
See?
off topic.
It's
Off
okay,
topic.
it's
I
okay,
think
it's
I think
okay.
Zaki was trying to get us back on the topic, right? So, the topic is taking the help of the Quran to build character, brotherhood, and akhlaq, right?
yeah.
And I think just to share a few more things here, what Zaki mentioned was about prioritization, right? It is so important. The Quran itself, and also the mission of the Prophet, they
Yeah.
prioritized akhlaq over everything else. So what's akhlaq? Akhlaq is just good manners. Akhlaq is good actions. Akhlaq is being helpful. Akhlaq is everything good that you do, right?
Yeah.
Your good manners. And so the Prophet ﷺ says that he was sent on this earth to perfect character and to perfect good manners. Right? So that is the starting point. If ever you are in a state where you're thinking to yourself, oh, where do I start? That is the first step. You work on your manners, your mannerisms, you work on good akhlaq. That is where you start, right? It could be, and good akhlaq could mean being honest, it could be being just, it could be being true to yourself first, being true to your brothers, to your family, spending time with family, right? So all of that is prioritization. I'll give you a small example. When you go to school, Mustafa,
Yeah.
what did you learn the first thing at school?
Like on the first day of school,
Yeah, the first day at school.
kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Well, I've learned the alphabet, but
The alphabets, right? And with the alphabets, when you went to grade 2 or grade 3, you started making words out of those alphabets, right?
Yes.
And then from words, you made sentences, right?
Yes.
That's how you learn, right? So similarly, the Quran teaches you that you have to start with the alphabets. The alphabets is creating good character. The alphabets is working on your mannerisms. And like you and I, we need to start somewhere, right? So I think
Yeah.
the first step is, I think, to be honest to ourselves. And that is what the Quran teaches as well, right? What other things do you guys feel could be those first steps that you take to build your character?
Okay. I can't think of a first step, but as you're saying, like you have to go step by step, and you have a starting block. So it's like a staircase. Do you think the top of the staircase is understanding the Quran, or do you think it's something else, like the top step?
Oh, that's a great question. So the top of the step is not just understanding the Quran, but whatever you understand of the Quran, you implement into your life,
Yeah.
right? And then that implementation leads you to become a better human being.
Yeah.
By better human being, I mean good to your parents, good to your friends, good to your family, and not just in your personal life, but you be good to in your studies as well, right? You become close to Allah, you become close to all your friends and family. So that is the ultimate thing that you want to achieve.
So like for example, in sports, you put your talent to use. In this,
Mhm.
you'll put your knowledge to use.
Exactly. And the Quran also teaches you, even in sport, you put up your best front, right?
Yeah.
You make the most
Work hard,
effort,
yeah.
you work hard. Quran teaches you all of that. So those are the first few steps that I think, are good starting points. What do you think, Mamo?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. Like the first step you should take, you like acceptance. Maybe that's like you accept what you're doing, you accept who you are. Second step, you have to take action in what you're doing. So, let's say you're like, oh, I'm at that age, so I'm gonna start praying. You take action on it instead of just saying it, because the words, it won't really affect you. You have to actually take action on what you're doing. So let's say you say, yeah, I'm gonna start praying. A couple days after, you actually start praying. That's good, but you have to stay consistent with what you're doing, and you have to have some faith, and you also have to have like encouragement. Like you have to be like happy with what you're doing, but either way, it's good to like pray, to stay connected to Allah. So yeah, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I feel like my opinion, the Quran, it has a lot of stories in it, and I feel like a lot of people, they just take these stories as just stories, but there's actually a lot of meaning behind these stories. There's a reason that they're in the Quran, and there's just a lot of lessons that you can get from it. For example, one of the prophet, if he was struggling with lust or something, there's a story and there's a moral you can get out of it. So if there's any problem, you can go to these stories to get a more of a visual example of what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. The Quran gives us a lot of stories. One of the stories, I'm not sure if it's in the Quran or not, but one of the stories is when the Prophet had started to preach about Islam in Makkah. You all heard of Abu Lahab?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bad guy. And he was, all over the place. He was taunting the Prophet. He was cursing the Prophet. But what was the Prophet's reaction? The Prophet's reaction was he was calm, he was composed, and he didn't talk back in the same manner that Abu Lahab was talking. And one of the reasons was because Abu Lahab was also his cousin. So that was a lesson. That's a lesson for you and I, that we need to, be calm and composed in difficult times, right? That's another lesson that the Quran teaches in terms of character building. You have a difficult time in front of you, remain calm, trust in Allah, trust in the process, trust in what's, some everything is good going to come out of it, right? So
Yeah.
to Zaki's point, those stories do give us a lot of lessons as well.
Yeah, so I feel like really it's like you need someone to push you. Let's say for example, you're scrolling on your phone and you see a cool, let's say, Lego tower. And you're like, oh, I could build that. You have to have someone pushing you to say, okay, prove it, do it, right? And I feel like he might not be able to directly push you, but Allah's always pushing you in, like, mentally.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then it's, I mean, of course, everything is Allah. Allah pushes you, but then it's also the concept of brotherhood that we're talking today, right?
Yep.
So if Eshaan wants to build a long, high Lego tower, and that's his purpose, everybody pitches in. Momo can come in and say, "Hey, Eshaan, you're building a tower. Let me help you as well." So
Yes.
that is where you all join hands and do things together,
Yeah.
right?
Because you work twice as fast when you have twice as many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you work 3 times as fast when you have twice as many people that have a brotherhood.
Yeah, I think we get it. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I'm gonna add something to that. Something I just thought of right now. Another big use for the Quran is to fight against evil like shaitan, the jinn, stuff like that. Because the Quran is like the surahs in there is great protection against like shaitan or like the jinn. Like a lot of protection that a lot of people they don't really fully grasp. Like a lot of people they resort to other things like the evil eye or these things that are kind of shirk if you think about it. Because why would you go to like some object that has nothing to do with
Why
Islam?
would you go to a blue circle?
Yeah,
and
to
say that's
fight
protecting you?
these kind of things. When the Quran is there, the 4 qils are there, Ayatul Kursi is there. Why not use that? Why are you using things that aren't
A keychain.
yeah,
It's the
like
keychain.
Exactly.
so a lot of people, there's a lot of uses for the Quran that you can get, but people don't use it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel like the Quran teaches us how to deal with lust, evil, shaitan, all these. But God also teaches us, like in the Quran, it teaches how to deal with lust also. Because, or I don't know if this is in the Quran, but I heard a story. So one of the prophets was like trapped in a room and there was like a girl there, right? And like he was trapped in there and the girl was like chasing him, like she was all lustful and stuff. And even him, he was so strong in his faith that he was not lustful at all, zero mistakes, no nothing. And that's like we should like take that to mind and like understand that, like because like like at this age, like a lot of like kids, not kids, like teenagers, like they're like lustful, and that's not a good thing.
Are you lustful, Momo?
No, what's wrong with you? But yeah,
It's something that Allah put in us, but also at the same time He asked us to control that
yeah.
desire, right?
He gave us that desire like as a test. You
Yeah.
could say.
Yeah, and that's a story of Prophet Yusuf,
Yeah.
right? It's he has a whole chapter named after him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty valid. But I think just to wrap it up, I guess, let's speak about how the Quran. Let's talk about 3 things that the Quran can help you in building your character. Okay, so I'll start. I say the
Let's
Quran.
do 4 so we get all 4 of us.
All 4?
Yeah, all
Yeah,
4 of us.
absolutely. Okay. So I would say honesty is one thing that the Quran teaches you, and that is really the starting point to start building your character. Okay.
Okay.
So honesty is I think the most important thing.
I think I go patience. And
Yes.
patience is really important, both in our Western society, every society possible, with every relationship, everything. Patience is key.
Yeah, I think faith is also key. You should trust in your faith. Like stay strong with what you believe in. And yeah.
I think another key is taqwa, like God consciousness, remembering God. I feel like a lot of people, in this day and age, especially in the West and stuff, they do have some morals, but they kind of forget where these morals are stemming from. The Creator. They kind of forget. They say honesty. They have these morals, but they don't know why. They just follow it. So the Quran, it's really big on making sure that you remember God in everything you
You
do.
have to like believe what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
there needs
why
to be
you're
a
doing
purpose
it.
in your
Yeah.
life. You can't just blindly follow something.
That is true. Being mindful is what I call it, right? We talk about mindfulness all the time, but if you're mindful about what you're doing, what you're reading in the Quran, I think that really helps build your life.
So Momo,
No.
would you like to give?
Would you like to? Let's both give a conclusion. To that.
All right.
All right, so I'll give like a little like piece of it, like a little sample for you. So basically, the Quran teaches us like a lot of like things like that we struggle with in life. It teaches how to overcome it and deal with it. And the Quran in like general is just a very like reliable source of information.
And brotherhood's really important,
Mhm.
and brotherhood really will guide you through life. And if you don't have that, it's not impossible, but it'll be a lot harder without brotherhood. And
Exactly.
you can refer to Allah, not don't quote me on this, okay? You can refer to Allah as a brother, but not a brother. He's like a
Like a
imaginary
companion.
brother. Yeah, a companion. That's
Yeah.
the perfect word.
Anyways, I'm Mustafa,
I'm Eshaan.
and we're here with our two guests.
Zain.
Zaki.
And
It's easy.
what? Okay. Anyways,